Hi, it's me, Arden Lee, and I want to talk a little bit today about reprogramming our ideas about what it means to be in love with someone, what it means to be in love, perhaps in general, and what that love means, especially when the person that you say you're in love with is enacting harmful behavior. If you don't know me already, I am the creator of the Repatterning Project, which is a group where we go in and we hack our beliefs for optimal success and happiness in order to achieve our goals. And if you want to find out more information about that, you can look in the description box below, and there is a link to a free PDF where you can see a little bit about what we do, and also a link to a Facebook group that you can join for support and to get all your questions answered and meet like-minded people who are trying to hack their beliefs and get their lives together as well. So what I want to talk about today is this idea of repatterning the idea of what it means to be in love with someone. I came across something today. I don't know this person. I don't know the situation very well. But I came across something online where someone was basically saying, I understand that that by engaging in this particular relationship, that I was hurting people. I was hurting the person who was that person's committed partner. I was hurting myself. I was hurting a lot of people. And the only thing that I can say for myself, they said, is, I was in love with this person. And so I was blinded to all of the harm that was done. And first of all, I want to say that I absolutely get this. And I am glad that I don't live in a glass house because I can't throw any stones. Because certainly before I really addressed my internal issues and really took an objective look at my algorithm and why, what were the patterns I was running, that was why I was behaving the way that I was behaving, what was my context, what was the motivation, what were the beliefs behind that that were motivating me to act in certain ways. I absolutely felt that that loving hard, there's like that if you love, like, if your superpower is loving hard, like, don't let it, if you love hard, don't let anyone talk you out of your superpower or whatever it is. And that's great in theory, but too often we have this idea that loving hard means being compliant and letting someone do whatever and get away with whatever kind of behavior, and enabling them if it means that we still get to be a part of their lives. So here you have this situation where there was harm being done, and the person who was involved in that, who participated in that harm, acknowledged their accountability but said, the context of this is that I was in love with this person, and my love for this person blinded me to the harm that I was doing, to their committed partner and to myself, and even to them by letting them get away with it. And I started thinking about my own frame of reference has grown and changed so much since I started doing this work that I really stopped and I thought about the phrase being in love. Being in love. What do you do when you're in love? And we have this idea that being in love is being infatuated. What it really is it's codependence, it's addiction. It's actually not love at all. It's I am addicted to what I get from this person. I can't live without their presence in my life, whatever I get out of being connected to them, being close to them, having sex with them, being obedient to them, surrendering to them. For me in particular, I identified for a very long time as sexually a submissive. I was a big part of the BDSM lifestyle, and that was how I justified so much of what I did. And ultimately, I enabled a lot of harm from my partners because I let them order me around, and I let their ordering me around surpass what was really my better judgment on the situation. I would say that there was a point in which I stopped listening to my better judgment so much in order to be obedient to the people who I was in love with, whose leadership I had pledged to follow in this dominant submissive relationship agreement, that my better judgment actually stopped talking to me. My better judgment was like, bitch, you don't listen anyway, so peace. And it took me a while to get that back. It is possible to get back, just so you know. It is absolutely possible. And it can be quicker than you think, but but you have to do that work. And ultimately, I was participating in this because I was so addicted to the surrender. I was addicted to this. I use the word addicted loosely, because I want to just point out that I don't like the way that the word addiction gets thrown at everything from iPhones to video games and porn to whatever. But I'm using it purposely nonetheless, because I was compelled. At the very least, let's say I was compelled. I was not in a state where I could stop myself, where I chose to stop myself from blindly obeying someone. And no matter what that meant, no matter if it meant enabling situations that were actually harmful for everyone. If you guys have ever seen Jessica Jones, I could not watch past the first 2 episodes, so I haven't seen the whole thing, but I remember in those first 2 episodes, some of the villain's mind control victims, he gives them orders for what to do, and they're like clawing at the walls to do that. Now they're under the influence or whatever, but I was under the influence, I would claw at the walls to be obedient. And I thought that this unconditional support, because we can whitewash anything. We can justify anything if we try, right? Loving hard, unconditional support. That's what love was. Where it's if no matter what bad decisions you make, I'm going to be there to bail you out of jail, sometimes quite literally, and move you in and support you financially until you're breaking my furniture and strangling me against a wall. That happened to me. I didn't know when to say no, and it would have to get that bad before I finally extricated myself from a situation like that. So if that's what at one point I thought that being in love was, I'm going to follow this person, I'm going to follow their judgment, I'm going to comply, I'm going to do everything for them, and that's going to prove to them how much I love them. I really want to address this misconception. I want to address this issue because it's incredibly harmful, because ultimately I'm actually not acting in their best interest. Ultimately, I was being selfish, because what I wanted unconsciously, I would not have been able to put this into words at the time, but looking back at it now, absolutely I can say that this is true. And if you're in this situation and doing this, is probably true of you too. It was actually me being selfish, because I wasn't loving them so much as I was unconsciously attempting to create dependence in them on me. They had created dependence. That's why it's called codependence, because I'm dependent on them and they're dependent. They had created dependence on me, in me as well, obviously. But by doing everything for them, by serving them, by being a service submissive and doing, just doing stuff, in a weird way, I kind of wanted them to not be able to exist without me. I wanted them to become so dependent on the service that I was providing and the way that I was making their lives easier and complying, that they wouldn't abandon me. There you have it. And so it really wasn't loving at all. It was controlling. It was, in a way, it was manipulative. I wouldn't have looked at that as manipulative, because I was like, what? They're manipulating me. They're literally telling me what to do. And I'm doing it. But I knew that in doing it, I was trying to create that kind of dependence in them so that they would not abandon me, because I was acting out of this fear, right? And in doing that, I just let myself be dragged along with their terrible leadership, their terrible ideas, and their awful executions of plans that didn't work out for anybody. And I should have known better. I should have stopped, not just for me, but for them as well, because maybe that's what it would have taken. Maybe it would have taken me saying, you know what, I can't do this. I love you, but I can't let you go down this path. And I'll be over here. I love you, but I can't be in this relationship. I can't enable your actions. I can't enable this to continue. So I want to talk about what that phrase, being in love, when I read that tonight, I did all these things because it was a result of my being in love. Well, I understand that, my viewpoint has changed so much that I probably hear those words and I think of them a lot more differently than most people do. But I think of being in love, and I start to think of it with a capital L love. Being in love, not with a person, but just being in love, being in the vibration of love. And that, to me, if you're going to be in love, then you're going to be in love. You're going to be in the light. You're going to be in that vibration of love and not fear and not scarcity and not enabling and not harm. You're not going to be participating in that. You're not going to be complicit. You have to be the lighthouse on the shore and saying, I'm going to be over here. I'm going to create a life that is sustainable, that is healthy, that is, I'm going to be in the light, and I'm here for you. I am here. And I want to use this myself as a model to guide you home. Now, what I should have done in the former situations that I was in, where I just kept obeying and kept enabling and kept being obedient and kept surrendering and kept going against my better judgment, what I really should have done was use my better judgment. Although, I was young and confused, and I was also a survivor of long-standing abuse. So, even as I'm saying better judgment, not sure how much good judgment I had. I was pretty confused about which way was up and down. But what I wish is that I had really tuned in and discerned and used my better judgment and said, I love you, but I'm not going to participate in this anymore. There were things that I had warned my ex about, and I said, I don't think this is a good idea. And he was like, no, well, we're doing it anyway. And I was like, okay. That moment where I was like, I don't think this is a good idea, I should have stepped out and saved myself and set an example and said, well, I'm going to step away from this situation. If you want to step away too, I'll be over here. But I didn't do that because I thought that being in love meant being loyal, and that being loyal meant standing by someone. And when he decided to ignore my warnings about the harm that was, was about to happen, that was the moment that I really should have stepped away, and I didn't. So there we have it. So what I want to bring to the surface right now is I would love for everyone to think very differently about that phrase, being in love. Being in love of yourself, being in love of your integrity, and inviting people to join you in that love, inviting them to join you in that place where you are taking care of yourself and taking care of your loved ones. But if they're out of alignment with that, if they're doing things that are not in alignment with that peace and harmony and honesty and communication and integrity and vulnerability and kindness, then they're gonna fall away from that naturally. And that's what we're really scared of. So when we say, I was in love with them, you were in fear with them, bruh. You were in fear. You were in scarcity with them. You were not in love, even though of course that's what our culture calls it. But I just want to bring attention to the words that we're using, that's not being in love. Being in love is actually something that you do by yourself first, I think. You learn how to be in love. Like I'm imagining, just love as a vibration. You learn how to be in love on your own, in your integrity. And then you invite people to be there with you. And you can be in love with many people in many kinds of different relationships, but when you're, negotiating your relationship agreements, then just becomes, then that's just like navigating needs and boundaries, and agreements. But I'd love for people to start thinking of this differently, because so much of what we think of as being in love is actually being in fear. And I hear people say that, and I'm like, oh, I was in love. I'm like, get love's name out your mouth, bro. Because that's not love. That's not what love is. Love doesn't allow people to be harmful to themselves if they can help it. Love doesn't necessarily try to interfere, because everyone has their own path, but love does say, I'm going to be an example. I'm going to be over here. I'm going to take care of myself. When you're ready to do the same thing, I'm right here for you. I'm happy to lend you a hand and help you pull up, but I can't do it for you. All I can do is do it for myself and serve as that example. And hopefully you look at me and you learn something. And whenever you're ready, I'll be right here. But being in love is no reason to enable harm. And if you are enabling someone's harmful behavior, whether that's against you, against themselves, or against other people, that is not love. Love does not mean babysitting your partners and fawning over them and wiping their asses so that they won't leave you. Even though I totally thought that at one point in my young and stupid life. Love is really about what's in the highest good for everyone involved. Love is about being in that harmony. People can enter in and out of relationships, certainly. Relationship agreements can change. You might be in love with someone who has a partner right now, and the most loving thing that you could do for them is to say, hey, I own my feelings, but I'm not going to let you do anything out of your integrity. And, I'm going to let you choose your own path. And, I'm going to love you from over here. And in the meantime, I'm not going to stop my life, because I'm going to choose someone who is also healthy for me, because I'm in love with me, because I am in love. I am in the vibration of love. So yeah, so that's it. We already know that our culture has some pretty fucked up ideas about what love is, but this in particular really struck me tonight. So do not allow your belief that you are in love with someone to allow you to enable their harmful behavior. That is not what love does. Love remains in integrity. So if you need to repattern some of your beliefs around what love is and how that works and how that operates, again, I invite you to check out the links in the description box below. We are here for you. We want to support you. We want everyone to be better. We want everyone to be happy. We want everyone to be in relationships. We want people to stop hurting each other and hurting themselves. So come and join us with that. Man, there is nothing better to have than your integrity, There is no fix, there is no high, there is no sex that is better than saying, I'm good. I know that what I'm doing is in alignment with what's right for me, what's on my path, and what's in my truth. And I don't have to lie or go behind anyone's back or cause anyone to hurt to do any of that. You see where that's just a fix, It's not love. Let's all be in love with each other. Have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you next time.